Welcome back to Lone Oak Farm 17 for episode 31 with me, MrSealyp. Now I apologise for it being dark, but I wanted to make sure that I showed what I was doing after the first load. We did the 6 pistons ranch. This is the next load of 50, 25 at the front, 25 at the back of the trailer. This 50 is going to Dagoin Fan and they're going to be shipped from the sawmill to Sandy Bay. He wants 100. I assume it's a he. Again, that could be a big misunderstanding on my part. Dagoin Fan could be a lady, I don't know. But Dagoin Fan anyway wants 100. So this is the first 50 for them. I have to make sure I line the trailer up properly so I get half the front load and half the back load over the trigger point. That way when it tips, they all sell. And I have to say, I'm making way more money out of logging than I thought I would. I suppose because it's winter, I don't know if for the wood chipper they're worth more. So I assume in lumber generally is worth a bit more. These first few bits are going to be in the dark. I didn't want to just jump to the morning having done a load. I wanted to show it all being done. And I didn't show any of me actually using the Scorpion King in the last episode, so I'm going to show that too, considering this is forestry. A little bit later. What I decided to do was do each tree at a time, like I said I would do in the last episode. Rather than pile them all up, I'm going to chop them one tree at a time, put them in piles individually one tree at a time. As you can see, I've already done some. And I have actually moved. I'm not in the main forest now where I was doing the lumber before. I've moved over to the forest next to field 20, just south of EP's chicken farm, chicken coops. So I'm in that woodland there now. I've pulled everything alongside onto the main road. I say the main road, the track that leads up to the farm, and I'm putting everything. I'm just piling it. Like I say, one tree at a time, and that way with the excavator I can come up one scoop, pick up a bundle, and take it and put it into the trailer. What I have also done, I've leased a second trailer, which I said I would do. That way I can do 100 8-metre logs in one load. So there'll be 50 on the front trailer, 50 on the back trailer. This full load will go to Strong Oak Farm because I've already done the first 50 for Dagoin Fan. So what I'll do is this full load will be 100. This will go to Strong Oak Farm, which is Jawl, I think it is the name. Trouble is hunting the fir trees in the dark because a lot of this woodland is mixed with various different trees, so I'm having to pick my way through the undergrowth in the darkness until I can find one and then drag it out towards the road. It's all good. I'm really enjoying doing this. Normally I just stick everything through the static wood chipper. I don't often do lumber, I don't do logging, but I've been enjoying it. I am getting to grips with the excavator, although I did have a few comments left in the last episode saying I wasn't using it correctly. I know I wasn't. I said right from the word go on that episode that I would not be using it properly, especially until I learnt how to use it a bit better anyway. For some reason, the whole section of me loading up this trailer, I recorded 2 bits, or I thought I recorded 2 bits. I either didn't press the record button when I thought I had, or something went wrong. Anyway, I couldn't find them. So what I'm going to do, unhook the back trailer, because obviously that's on a dolly. I can't back 2 up. There's absolutely no way. So the first one will go in. That's the first 50, and this is going to Strong Oak. I think Strong Oak Farm. It's on the Thornton map. That was it. Thornton Farm map. And these are the ones that are going to be turned into holiday lets, like cabins over by the castle on the Thornton Farm map. So first 50 going in. Now my wife did mention to me, she did say, is there any reason why you couldn't just fill up one trailer and just show yourself taking it multiple times as a kind of, obviously it's going to take a long time to do this. The thing about it is, as soon as you unload the first trailer load you get a certain payment. If I brought the same trailer backwards and forwards a few times, it would look, the money wouldn't go up. It would be obvious, She wasn't doing it to be deceitful. She was just asking me, just curious as to why I wasn't doing it that way. Because obviously she sat most of the day yesterday watching me cutting trees and loading trailers, and it took a long time. It did take a long time. So yeah, she was just curious. But anyway, first 50 are in, second 50 now. So I've took the dolly off, moved it out of the way. That way I can hook up to the second trailer and I can reverse that without any problems. So we'll back that one in too. The second trailer was obviously leased. I did that off screen, but it's identical to the one that I used in the last episode, and it's the ISIP was a BSM, I think 80,006. I don't think that's the name of it. It is the Black Sheep modding log trailer, semi-log. I can't remember what it's called exactly, but anyway, I digress somewhat. So with this load going in, that's 100 logs for Strong Oak Farm heading your way. So all I've got to do now is another 50 for Daggerwin Fan, which will be the second load for Daggerwin Fan, making that 100 for them. I have moved slightly in the woodland, so I'm now where the Scorpion King is. If you follow the tail of the Scorpion King backwards, the main farm is directly kind of behind that. I say directly behind, it's a couple of fields back, but that direction. So I'm pointing north now. Same thing, going into the woodland, just getting the trees out one at a time, bringing them out onto a flat surface. I did find cutting them onto this uneven bumpy ground, it was hard to pick up. Not too hard, the crane was doing a brilliant job, but I found the more bumpy the ground was, the excavator, it did have a couple of times where it got stuck. I kind of went over a brow or a ridge, and it kind of almost like cross-axling a 4x4, something like that. It just kind of lost traction over the top of the ridge. So I thought it's easier if I pull them out where this road is, and if I lay them flat, then I can just come in with the crane, excavator, and pick them up. So what I'm trying to do is take the Scorpion King between and leave one pile kind of either side of where the Scorpion King would go, just making it easier to pick up one load at a time. That's the only reason I'm doing it, really. It's working. It seems to be working really well. Some of the trees I'm getting 3 logs, some I'm getting 4, some I'm getting 4 on one of those little spindly bits on the end. But I can always just pick those up later, that's not a problem either. All the machinery's here. You may be wondering why I'm back on the static wood chipper. Well, it went past midnight, and with all the machinery and leasing and all the various different things, we made about 19,000 on milk. So thank you, Cody. Looking after those cows for you is paying off. But I still lost 1,000. I was still down 1,000 because obviously what it cost me was offset by the milk, but I was still down by 1,000. So I decided after midnight, because we're on midwinter now, you can make a lot of money on logging. It's like gold. It's unbelievable. I think for the bigger trees now I'm getting 13,500 per tree. So what I've decided to do is do what I did on the first night into early winter, do a load of logging through the wood chipper as well, and try and get the money up as high as I can so I can pay the loan off completely in the morning. I also want to have a little bit extra as a buffer because I might want to buy a couple of fields. I'm not too sure yet. Maybe a field, maybe a couple. Some that farmers have already pre-seeded, so we've got some crop ready in spring. So I just thought, you know what, it makes perfect sense to get on it now, get a load done. I have pretty much filled up the other trailer for Daggerwin Fan, so what I'll do is in the morning we'll take that and we'll sell that in the morning. But I just thought with the prices high, and I think it will get even higher in late winter. So spring and winter, obviously winter will run into spring, so for that period logging is worth its weight in gold with seasons on. Absolutely is. So that's why I'm doing it, doing a whole load. And why not? Most of these trees have been absolutely fine to cut down, but as you get towards the edge, I've found some of them, the trigger for cutting's off a little bit. They're a little bit glitchy, and it does exactly what that one's just done. It hasn't popped into the holder. There you go. It didn't go into the cutter properly. It kind of offsets, so then when you try to cut, it drops out. If that ever happens, top tip, just drop the header down right to the floor, right in front of the log or tree, and then just drive forward ever so slowly. Tip that header forward as much as you can. Then when you press X again, as if you were cutting down the tree in the first place, and it will cut and pick it back up again, just like that. So if ever it does that, if ever you get the log pop out, or it just for some reason it doesn't stay in the cutter head, you can do that. Just put the cutter down on the ground, push it forward until it's leaning right over it, then press as if you were felling the tree in the first place, and it all works perfectly well. So then you can just stick it through the chipper. Okay, that's weird. Why has it done that? Huh? Okay, well that's not supposed to happen. I normally do 1 metre cuts, always do, just find it easier. I have never ever managed to put a full tree through this wood chipper. So this is completely by accident. This was not intentional. I could have just kept my mouth shut and just said, look, this is how I do all my trees. It's not. This has never happened before. I don't know why it dropped out the cutter in the first place. I don't know. Very weird. But that saved me pressing the X button repeatedly, like that's hard work. But anyway, there you go, full tree through. What I'll do now is see you in the morning. We should be a bit richer, hopefully. It's 8:51. The sun didn't come up till about 8:35, 8:40, and it's cold. It's about -4 air temperature and about -3, I think, something like that, ground temperature. So pretty nippy. Wrapped up nice and warm today. Off up to the main barn and we'll check out jobs for today. Last night was busy, as you saw. We are up to 1,039,000. Some of that was from selling the lumber, the contracts that I've done. I've got 1 load left to go for Dagoin Fan, another 50 logs, and that'll be that done. And the rest was done by wood chipping over at the main, well, where I've been doing a lot of the wood chipping, at the sort of main forest over near the straw sale barn, I think that's how you call it. We have got some work to do animal feed wise, I think more on the pigs. I've been trying to keep up with everything else. Overnight I did do some total mix ration, so the cows are going to be okay. But anyway, that said, let's get into here. I bought back the New Holland from field 1 from planting the poplars. That got into the red on fuel. I think because I left it just going up and down, didn't even dawn on me. So grabbed the Julie and the trailer that we had the poplar pallets on and stuck it on the back and brought it back. That will need to be refilled. I mean, it probably could have got back on what we've got left in it, but it just made more sense without follow me to drive this back and this, then that separately, just stick it on the trailer. Just an easier way of doing it. So, what are they forks for? Oh, the Bobcat. I'm thinking of selling a couple of bits. Things that I'm not using. And something that I've just bought, which has actually turned out to be an absolute godsend. And I'll explain that in a bit as well. Please let there be a bit of sun on the board. There is a little bit of sun on the board. Fantastic. So, let's check the board for today. So, it's Thursday. Top of the list, pay off the loan. Absolutely. We've then got 125,000 litres of wood chips for Millstone Farms. That's for Farmer Pierce and his lovely wife. Then we've got sheep sitting for Big Daddy Tailoring USA. We'll talk about that later on. We've got jobs for Old Tom, field 26. And then we've got slurry and manure for Wheeler's Springs Farm. I have got a letter actually from Millstones Farms that we'll have a look at, which just explains everything they wanted. But that's it. Okay, let's have a look at that letter. So this says, Hi, MrSealyp. The help we received from you last season with the hay was phenomenal. It helped us keep the cows fed all winter. We appreciate your help again this year with the wood order. The missus asked me to write you with a small change to the request of 3 cords of wood as per the original conversation. I would like 125,000 litres of wood chips that will be pressed into wood pellets at the mill. These will burn a bit hotter in our outdoor furnace, thus keeping the missus baking to her heart's content. Please send correspondence or invoice of what you would like for payment of services rendered. She has already contacted the mill and they know of your arrival. They ask that you give them a call the day before you intend to deliver so they can arrange payment. Fantastic. Now, I have subsequently received a message from Farmer Pierce asking that, to the best of our ability, can we make sure that the lumber we provide is dead standing. That's going to be a little bit tricky to do, but we'll see what we can do on that. But there we go, that's our jobs for today. Plenty to be getting on with. I suggest we just crack on. Right. A lot to do. The sheep that are coming from Big Daddy. Oh, excuse me. That's Big Daddy from Oakfield Farm. If you didn't watch my Oakfield Farm Let's Play, it was Big Daddy's Knitting Club. And I got a message a while back saying, obviously with FS19 with cotton coming out, Big Daddy's Knitting Club became Big Daddy's Tailoring, and they're going to be dealing with woolen wear and also cotton clothing too. So apparently Big Daddy has received an OBE for his work in the UK, and they've now opened up their USA branch, so it's Big Daddy Worldwide now, or say Big Daddy Tailoring. So they've got too many sheep, and they've asked us to take on 30 again, like I did with the cows, I suppose. For Cody, they won't be ours, but we will pen them, we'll look after them. Yesterday, the day before, when I was talking about sheep. Oh no, it was on Upper Lusatia. I could not think of the name. I kept saying herd of sheep, which isn't technically wrong, but in my head I kept thinking that doesn't sound right. It's a flock of sheep. Why didn't I? Somebody messaged and said flock is the word you were looking for. Absolutely it was. I can't believe I don't know. Don't ask me. Anyway, right, let's get this off, then we'll get over and we'll get that last load done for Dagoin Fan. Because I did mention I was over by field 20 and it was in the dark, it was hard to sort of see. Yeah, we're down to 78 litres left in this. So let's get some fuel in the New Holland. Right, well that's refueling. Disconnect that. So let's whiz over. I love this Julie pickup, I really do. So this is what I meant. When I said the Scorpion King, I said south of the Scorpion King was where the main farm is. It is kind of directly behind the way I was pointing. Field 20 is just over there. So it's this bit of forest here. And I did say just north of the forest is EP's house with the chicken coops. So I wasn't far off. And we were driving around in the dark, stumbling around looking for fir trees. And the weird thing is, in the dark, this woodland seemed way, way bigger. But now when you go across, actually you can see how much I've cut down. This is I've basically went through and just took all the fir trees out. Anyway. The excavator I'm starting to get to grips with. I'm enjoying using it. I'm glad we bought it rather than leased it, because there's a few things we could probably use that for. If I find after a couple of episodes or while I'm not using it, we can always sell it on. But there we go, 50. That's the second 50 that we need for Dagoin Fan. So what we'll do is we'll deliver these. Then I can let both of the log trailers go back to the leasing company, because we only leased them while we were doing the forestry. You can see here, look to the right hand side, how much I've cleared back. Although I did have a couple of very weird glitches happen during the night, which is a bit peculiar. This tree here, which has got nothing on it, same as these ones here, it's winter, no leaves on. I cut it down with the ray board, and this bit wouldn't go. And when you go up to it, you can just go through it. The same with the ray board. When I came off the game and came back on again, it's back and it's got full foliage on it. I don't know what's happened with that one. It's a bit of a weird one, but that will just have to stay there like that now. I don't know. I can't do anything with it, so never mind. Just realised I'm going the wrong way. I'll see you there in a second. Just clear the fence and I'll be fine. Straps off. Nice tip. Now, because I've done pretty well out of the lumber from those contracts, I was offered money. I was offered by, I think it was Strong Oak Farm, said I could take the money for the logs and they would give me 200,000 as a bonus because they were so desperate for the lumber. But I've done really well out of it, to be honest with you, so I'm just taking the money I've got from selling it because the lumber prices were very good. So there's no more money I'm going to be taking for those. That's it. That's Daggerwin fans done. So we managed to do 6 pistons in the last episode, 1 full semi-trailer. We've done the 2 contracts, one for Strong Oak Farm and one for Daggerwin fan, 100 8-metre logs for each of them. And that concludes the logging portion of today's episode. These will need to go back. I need to now go and check on the hogs because I think I've done water. Oh no, I need water for the cows is what I need next. And then we need to head back to the office because we need to ring the bank and let's clear this loan. Let's get shot of it. Do you want to buy some more fields? I need to speak to the boss. We'll have a bit of a powwow and we'll decide which ones we're going to buy. How big we want to go. A lot of them have got canola, wheat and barley has already been planted. Let's just pause this side here for now. If we check the map, no, not that one. The other map, that one. Yeah, there's some growth. So look at the fields that are all green. They're all fields that farmers have already seeded pre-winter, so they're going to be like that right the way through. If you look at the top, field 1, where we've put the poplars in, they will need to be sprayed at some point, but obviously I need to get a bit. I don't think I can spray with the ground frozen. Pretty sure I can't. Oh, what was I looking at? I was looking at the fruit types. Yeah, we've got barley, we've got wheat, and we've got canola. OSR is in the ground from all the different farmers. No other crops in the ground. There's no sugar beet. There's no potatoes. There's no corn. And realistically, there aren't many fields left. When you look at that, this year is going to be a bit of an odd one because we've got field 26, which is old Tom. We need to do some work for him, but there's no jobs available on that at the moment because the ground's frozen. Field 46 we don't own. Obviously, there's 52's grass. There's 28 left, 18 left. So if you allow for the fact that any farmers might grow corn, there's not really going to be any sugar beet or potato this year, I wouldn't have thought, going in the ground. No sunflowers either. So it's going to be a weird year. We'll have to see what we're going to put. We've got to do a load of soy. I mean, tons and tons of soy. I've got 3 or 4 contracts for soybean, so we're going to put an absolute load of soybean in the ground. Anyway, that said, hogs are doing well. They are going to need a bit of feed, but they're okay for the time being. I've refilled the water overnight, but we came down this morning. You probably even noticed when I came out of the cabin earlier, the lakes are frozen. We had to break through the ice to get to the water, which is quite cool. It's a really good look, actually, I have to say. When you come down to it, it looks fantastic. So yeah, we had to break through the ice before we get to the water. The water's going to be pretty cold, but that looks fantastic. Look at that. Really, really nice. Very, very cool indeed. So this is going to go to the cows. When we get to the cows, we need to muck the cows out. I think we cleared the feed area. It's 9 o'clock, it still seems quite dull. I suppose that time of the year. Winter, the sun doesn't come up very high. Come back for the semi later. I'm going to have to bring this tractor back anyway to here, because the trailers are in the barn here. So this will need to come back. I suppose I could do with a 3rd water trailer, and I can have one at each set of animals there. The excavator is going to need to be moved to wherever I'm... Oh, that's the other thing I want to do. I need to buy... Again, I need to speak to the boss to see which type we're going to go for. But we need an IT runner trailer of some description. Probably one of the cheap ones. It doesn't have to be the in-game one you get. Actually, I'll go across here, that's how I feel. Because I want to move the Xylo chip, the Rayboard Xylo chip, the big red wood chipper we've got at the wood chip storage point, and I want that mobile because I've got a wood chipping contract for Millstone Farm for Farmer Pierce. So I want to be able to move that around. They have stipulated they want me to use dead standing for wood chipping. I'm not sure how many of the dead standing trees we can cut down, so that's going to be a bit of a kind of hunt around and see what we can find, really, I guess. Which is no big deal. It's all part and parcel. Oh, well, I left the gates open. Have we got any cows left? Yeah, they're still in there. That's a bit of luck. Oh no. How long have they been open for? Okay, right. That's that done. We are going to whiz over to the sheep, because I want to show you what I did over there as well. So after all the sort of frantic forestry and getting all that done, there's the general housekeeping jobs around the farm which need to be sorted. And that's kind of what we're doing at the moment, really. It's just going around and getting all the odds and ends done. Let's pop that around. I'll go back over later. Actually, you know what I'll do? Seeing as how cold it is, not that it's going to make it not a heated barn, but if I leave that out, there's always a worry that's going to freeze inside the tank, isn't there? You never know. Interesting developments that have occurred over the last couple of days. I read from Ruben Juice, who I follow on Twitter. Very, very good Twitterer. Anyway, about a comment that was made in the Discord server by Lysatan, the community manager, about... That's better. About John Deere, and a couple of people have made, there've been a couple of comments left here or there. Oh, I did buy this bucket as well. I got the CSZ bucket because the other one was only 1,000. Well, it was said 2,000, but it wouldn't fill up to 2,000. This is a 4,000 bucket, so for doing things like total mixed ration, it's perfect. Yeah, a few people had said about John Deere, it's the big new thing coming to the game, etc., etc. and it had been kind of, I say underplayed. I don't know whether that's the right word for it. Everyone was concerned because the only thing we'd seen really was the 8R tractor and the harvester, the one John Deere harvester, but nothing else really about much other stuff. I think there's the John Deere Gator coming as well. Then in that last video we just saw about planting and field work and that kind of stuff, there was the 6230, was it? So there was a 6 series, but there's been a comment left to say that there will only be one John Deere harvester in the game, and I think there's a concern now. People are really worried that there's not going to be as much John Deere equipment as people thought there would be, considering it's the new big licence, and I think everyone was assuming there was going to be loads and loads of John Deere equipment, and now there's a concern that that's not going to be the case. So I don't know. Watch this space, I guess, see what happens. Right, let's muck these out. With the bigger bucket, this should go into one, hopefully. Try and put on the floor properly. Straw is very deep in here. Oh, that's only just gone in, hasn't it? Should be some more under here. It's hard to see. I think the straw texture is a little bit raised in here, isn't it? Well, I suppose it would be if you piled straw up in the barn. It would be raised. Anyway. Yeah, so anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. That's something that kind of cropped up in the forums, and a couple of things have been mentioned about it, and on Twitter as well. And it's what people are kind of, it's what they're interested in. I've been watching a lot of, I have to say, the Millennial Farmer. MN Millennial Farmer. Actual farming in Minnesota. Oh wow, what a channel. I'm absolutely loving watching it. Big shout out if you don't watch it already. I watch How Farms Work, I watch One Lonely Farmer. There's a few different farming channels I watch, and Millennial Farmer is brilliant. They're a John Deere farm, 5th generation farmer. Some fascinating stuff I've learned watching that, you know, about fertilising and, you know, and drainage tiles, drain tiles, and how it helps drain the fields and doesn't allow runoff, and, you know, just absolutely brilliant. But just watching him on his farm, or his family's farm, with all the John Deere equipment that's available, there's some really cool stuff. So I think that's probably another reason why people are a little bit, you know, but I suppose you've got so many different manufacturers in the game, whilst John Deere are the new big catch, they can't push them massively over everyone else, because everybody's, you know, every manufacturer that's agreed to be part of it is part of the game. So I can kind of see why, but I just think people thought there'd be more equipment coming. I don't know, we'll see, maybe there will be. Fingers crossed on that one. Anyway, right, let's put that back down. So that's that mucked out. They've got water. Put that back in here for the time being, because the feed areas seem to get very dirty very quickly. And I've only got 30 in here. It's not like I've got 300 cattle in here or anything like that. So that's that done. Right, we're going to pay off some of the loan, won't we? The sum of the loan? All of the loan. Let's get rid of it. So we'll go into the office. We can call the bank. Get this done. Actually, I'm going to close that. This workshop is heated and it's cold out. I'm not letting the heat out. Oops. So, oh, that's just to show you. Trees cut down. In total, 752. We did a lot of logging and we've done a lot of wood chipping. So yeah, fair amount cut down. Anyway, we're going to loan. Where is it? Repay. Let's get rid of it. It's all very exciting. It's more interesting to see how much we have left afterwards, but that was the whole point of doing the logging overnight, to raise as much money as we can. I did promise when we took out that massive loan, 930 odd thousand, on top of the 75 I already had, that I would clear it over the winter. And we're done. We've cleared the loan. Let's come out. we're left with 600,000. That's not bad, because I think after the first load or the second load of lumber yesterday, we were up to 625,000. So with all the wood chipping I did overnight, that was literally to pay off the loan. So I suppose technically we're down by 25,000, but really that's a minor thing. The loan is paid. We are done. No more extortionate interest payments. I think we were paying 8,500 a day on that loan. I suppose it was a lot of money, isn't it? We had 1,010,000. Done. So the question is what to do next. Of all those jobs we've got some haulage jobs. One of the jobs that I had for Wheeler's Springs Farm, which is over towards the wool sell point, they wanted me to haul, it was like 500,000 litres of manure, 500,000 litres of slurry, and they would pay off the loan completely. And that was one of those ones I went back to say, paying £1 million off someone's loan for me hauling some manure and slurry was a little bit over the top. So that's why I've decided to pay off the loan myself, which is now done. I'm going to haul some loads over to their farm for them, and it will be a minimal payment. I'm just transporting it from one place to another. I'm not producing the manure or slurry. That's all going to come from Sengstocks Organics. So now I've got some wood chipping to do for millstones. We've got sheep coming at some point. Don't know what to do next actually. Think. Could probably do with putting this trailer away actually. This should be filled up now as well. I say it should be, it's been there ages, so yeah. $1,092 to fill it up. It was pretty much empty, wasn't it? Let's be honest. 629 litres and we were down to 78. It would have got us home, but only just. We've had no snow, which is good. It's definitely chilly. Now, the other thing is we need to look at for the next year. We need to be planning ahead, equipment wise. And like I said, some bits of equipment. Oh, that's what we need to do. Go to the sheep farm. That's what I was going to show you. Whiz over there. I'll see you over there in a minute. So I was going to show you something. It's one of those. Another one of those. Most people will probably just go, yeah, and. But it's a revelation for me. Right, I could drive over, but I'm going to enjoy a brisk walk in the fresh air. So I'm over at the sheep farm, and I've got those forks there, the CSZ ones that in the bale section that I said I wasn't overly keen on because they did 3 bales at a time. Somebody said if you went for the very top bale and put it on, it will only do 1, but I don't know. I wasn't getting on with them. Anyway, the piece of equipment I bought in the last episode, the telehandler, the lead pair one. I got the weight for it as well. I suddenly thought, that might come in quite handy. And during the night, because I had left the Bobcat over at the store, I suddenly thought the feed area was getting a bit of a mess. So I came over with this to do a bit of tidying up. And I thought to myself, right, I'm going to have to get myself a bucket and all sorts of stuff. Now, the thing that I often buy when I do logging is a manure fork, because I don't like using the log grabs on telehandlers. So what I did when I purchased this in the last episode, I bought in telehandlers, again in the CSZ pack, and this thing is worth its weight in gold. This is one of those mods that I would have installed on every Let's Play I do. It's a brilliant pack. I'll put in the description the modder's name, or names, I think it's a couple of people. So what I'll often use is the standard Magsy manure fork. That's what I used to use for doing logging. Well, when this came out, I tried this a little while ago, and I tried the multi-purpose fork, and I found it a bit more stable than the standard one. I really liked it. Now that's the manure fork, which for picking up manure and silage works really well. This just says multi-purpose. It says the gallows dung straw multi-purpose handling allows forage and transporting up to 2 regular and 4 round bales with the help of hydraulics. The load will be locked by the retainer. Well, I didn't really read that. I just thought I'll get it for doing logging. But what I found is, one, it's got a trailer hitch, which means I can move the water tank, so I don't need 2 separate vehicles over here, because I needed to have the bobcat and then something for moving that around. But what I did find was this fork, this multi-purpose fork, when you come into here, it picks up the grass too. I suppose because it's designed for a mixture of all sorts of stuff. It's not predominantly a manure fork, but it can do. And then when I get over closer to the actual trough, is that trough full? Please tell me it's not full. When I was doing it in the night, it was, oh, there you go. Yeah, it was unloading kind of automatically into it. So whilst it does that as well, it clears up the feed area, which is absolutely brilliant. I then tried to get a bale because I needed to feed them. Now unfortunately these are sideways. Now I know this is a bit bigger than a bobcat, it's a little bit more unwieldy and harder to move around, but we can get into the bales, not far though, it wouldn't go far onto them. But if I close that down on the top like that, it locks them in place. You can do 1 at a time sideways on, 2 like that, however you want to do it. This thing has become my kind of multi-purpose bit of kit, especially over here on the sheep farm. It is proving absolutely fantastic. So another one of those worth their weight in gold bits of kit. I'm so impressed with it. So the telehandler was fairly inexpensive. I think it was only 90 something thousand, wasn't it? For the lead pair one. Doesn't have to have massive horsepower. And then getting that multi-purpose fork, absolutely perfect. But we have unfortunately come to the end of another episode. I hope you have enjoyed this one. We've got the last bits of logging we need to do done. If you have enjoyed it, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you choose to do, as always, thanks for watching.